Genesis chapter 10. We've made it through Genesis chapter 1 through 3, where God takes and he creates the heavens and the earth. And this is all for the glory of God. And then he creates man. And then he has a covenant with man. And then Adam drops the ball in the garden. He sins against the holy God. Thereby sin entering into the world. And sin entering into the world, instead of God saying basically, away with you, Adam, away with you, Eve, he gives this marvelous verse of Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. And then we start to see this being carried out. So instead of God eliminating Adam and Eve, he takes and he slays the animal and he covers them. Covers them in anticipation. Anytime you see a covering in the Bible, or you see this idea of the sacrificial system being played out, it's because what? It's pointing to Christ. Remember, the Old Testament is looking towards Christ. It's looking towards the Gospels. We're looking back and then looking forward to his second coming. We're looking back at when he lived, died, or lived, went to the cross and died. We're looking back to that. So he takes and instead of throwing Adam and Eve in hell and later the lake of fire, he takes and he covers them. And he makes this announcement about the seed. Satan then takes and he tries to work through Cain in order to kill Abel, because he believes that Abel is the seed. Abel is not the seed, Seth is the seed. Satan has been trying to thwart the plan of God from the beginning. But how many times can I tell you, saints, that Satan can't thwart the plan of God? Tried to work through Cain to kill Abel. That didn't work. Then we come later in Genesis chapter 5, and he raises up Enoch, and Enoch gives his prophecy about the judgment of God that's coming. And remember, in 10 on your notes, we have an immediate fulfillment and a climactical fulfillment. He was referencing into the climactical fulfillment, but then that fulfillment was immediately fulfilled in the flood. So remember, Enoch made this prophecy about God's judgment on the world against ungodly men, and that's going to be fulfilled at the end of the age. But then we see this immediate happen in Genesis chapter 6, a chapter later. And God judges the world by way of flood. And he floods the world, except for Noah and his descendants. Because Noah found what? Grace with God. And therefore he did all that God commanded him to do in building his ark. God saved the world through Noah. Therefore Noah pointed to Christ. Therefore the ark pointed to Christ, because the ark was a refuge. As God is judging the world, the ark took and he protected his people in the ark, thereby pointing to Christ, that how he's going to protect his people, how he's going to protect us as believers. And then once Noah goes and he goes through all that, and he in Genesis chapter 6 and Genesis chapter 7, he gets off the ark. And once he gets off the ark, he goes and he makes a sacrifice, thereby showing, pointing to Christ once again with this burnt offering or a sacrifice. And then God makes this promise that he's never again going to flood